Okay. So let us come back to our most important tool or the component in UiPath test automation. Why I call it as most important is without this, you cannot do the automation testing. Let us assume that like you have a robot agent to execute your automation scripts and you have a test manager to see your test results, but without building an automations, right? You cannot go for that, right? Like you cannot go for an automation testing without a tool to build your automation test cases. Then you have Selenium for the automation testing. Why do we need UiPath? So can any one of you tell me?
Us Selenium. I had no idea because see, that is also a free uh tool, right? So I don't have any.
UiPath is not a free tool. UiPath is a paid version,
Okay.
but you have still Selenium. You have a robot framework in Python, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you have PyTest in Python framework,
Yep.
right? And you have Selenium with Python. You have Playwright. Then why
Yep.
should we go for UiPath? Why the industry is going towards UiPath? It's a very simple reason that like if I need to build an test automation for majority, we can say for the UI, and minority will be your backend, whatever it might be. But there you need to write a number of lines of code. But here everything is visual and you just need to do a drag and drop. That's the reason for which the UiPath started very late in terms of UiPath test automation, but could able to capture the market. And I'll give you my experience in terms of the pre-sales, which I have done a couple of years, like before joining Ash itself. Okay. So since last 2 years, I'm doing the pre-sales. Now I'm not doing, okay. But for the last 2 years, I did my pre-sales. And the major projection, what we generally do is UiPath is going to be a very good in terms of go-to-market, and it is compatible with Citrix automation testing, and it's compatible with web automation testing, compatible with API automation testing, and compatible with desktop application testing, right? And it is having a connectors, vast connectors with almost all the enterprise grade applications. That's the reason which the UiPath could able to emerge in terms of the test automation, right? So this is the reason for which like why UiPath test automation suite is getting as a buzzword across in terms of the testing. So I'm pretty sure like you might not heard about UiPath test suite even 1 year back, even though you are in automation, correct? So that's how the UiPath could able to get emerged because of its easy to use and fast to deploy. And here, this is going to be your home screen in UiPath Studio, where we are going to build our automations.
Okay.
So in the left side panel, you have like open, like where which project you want to open and all, and you have options like whether you want to open from the local project or clone from the Git. So these are the common you will find everywhere. And the tools, these are the tools which actually supports UiPath for the automations, and especially in terms of the UI automations. When you come to the tools, whatever you have here, your apps or UiPath extensions or the plugins, these are more on the UI automation, not anything else. Sorry, guys. Yeah. UiPath extensions. So you have multiple extensions here. Like you can have an extension for each and every browser, and you can have for the Java applications. So the Java based applications, one of the example I can give you is Oracle EBS, right? The Oracle, all the applications are Java based, and it is very hard to find out the selectors, right? And the Silverlight and Citrix. Citrix automation is the most complex. Whoever, I'm not sure like whether you came across or not, but the Citrix automation is completely looks like an image. You will be working on an image, but this extension can help you out to identify the selectors even on top of it. And Microsoft Remote Desktop apps, when I think you guys might have worked, right? You will be having an VM and you'll be accessing with RDP, correct?
Yeah, VM we have. RDP in the sense I didn't get.
So when
Yeah.
you want to access a VM from your
Yeah.
system, you'll be using
Okay.
RDP.
Remote desktop, that one you okay.
Yes,
Got it, got
right?
it. Yes. Yes, yes.
Even on top of that, it
Mm.
looks like an image, right? Even on top of that, you can
Yeah.
identify a selectors with the help of this extension. So
Okay.
you have all these extensions for your UI automations. That is the
Got it.
most advantage feature what UiPath has. And
Okay.
let me ask you a question. So this is my web application, and I want to click on this attachments. What generally we do in the Selenium? We'll right click on it.
Yes.
We'll click on inspect, and we'll right click on this and copy XPath,
XPath,
right?
yes. Yeah.
This is what we are going to do when we do the UI automations, right?
Okay.
Agree, guys?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the things we are following in the Selenium, the same way only we need to be do it in here as well. If it could be a button,
No, no.
no,
This
no.
is the
Okay.
way how we do in a Selenium.
Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay. And
Yeah.
we'll see the difference going further. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Because in the apps, you have UI Explorer. If I click on this, this will get open. Oh, it's taking time. It's got opened. Okay. So I'll open this and I'll indicate on here element attachments. I can easily identify that with the recorder, and I can even change these. Like I'll just select the name which is required. I can deselect whatever is not required, right?
Yeah.
And here I have an option to validate. See, the guys, don't worry on this. We will have a detailed section when we are talking on the object repository and UI automations. Okay. I'm just
Okay.
giving the example. So when it
Okay.
turned on to the green, which means like this XPath is going to be a valid. There we call it as an XPath, but here it is an selector. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I mean, you just selected that particular one, and then
Mhm.
you would have selected that validate. After that,
Yes.
you can be able to get it. It is a validator one.
Yes.
I
But
got
I'm
it.
just showing this example that how easy to identify the XPaths or selectors. See,
Okay, got it.
XPath is the general term which we will use in the testing terminology when you are working with the Selenium testing. But the selector, which we call it as a same synonyms, we can say, we call in UiPath. That's the only difference. Okay, you guys are right, in line, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah, so that's how easy it is to work with UiPath. And every time it's not necessary for us to come here and start with that. And in terms of when we are doing the automation, you'll see that how it is going to help us in the automation itself when we are identifying the elements. So I just want to give you an example that why the people are moving towards the UiPath test automation,
Got it.
whereas they have a free source like Selenium. Correct?
Yeah, got it.
Templates is going to be a vast topic, and I don't want to discuss now. And we will discuss today, but not now. And we will discuss after some time on the templates. Team, uh, see, when we are working on any project, irrespective whether it is a development or a testing, and we will be using the version control, right? It can be a Git or Azure DevOps or Bitbucket. So we need to maintain that because we want to have a collaborative work. Correct?
Yes, it's a repository, right? To store
Yes.
what are the versions we were. Yeah.
Yes, correct. And do we have only Git integration with UiPath?
So no.
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
It looks like that, but it's absolutely no. So if I go back to the settings, here from the settings, we can change a number of things. And if I go to the we will talk about this when we are working on the project, okay? Don't worry on these settings. The design settings are nothing but in terms of runtime and the code or quality checking and everything can be taken care by the UiPath itself. Instead, we do something. Plugins. Yeah, it will be under the plugins. And if you see Git, SVN, and TFS. SVN, which is an open source, but a long time back, people used to use this. And TFS, I don't think so, still it is alive. I feel that it's dead because the TFS is no more used by the Microsoft after acquiring the Git. So it is got reduced. And if you talk to the old people who is having 30 years of experience in .NET, they will not call it as a Git. They will call it as a TFS because TFS is the repository of the Microsoft distribution. And now Microsoft acquired Git. So initially you'll be seeing only Git, but you can enable the other two as well if required. If I go to the Teams and I'll close this and I'll open it again because we enabled the other two. And if I go to the Teams, I can see all the three, which means like I can collaborate with all these three. And let us assume you are going with Bitbucket. See, if the proper configuration and proper things are given, it will work with the Git. And even if you are going with Azure DevOps or GitHub, both will work with the Git. So that's how the source control or repositories work for us. So are we clear till this place or any questions?
No, actually, I didn't. I'm little bit confused with this. TFS is a
With
Microsoft. I mean, that. Yeah. Could you please explain with the TFS again?
TFS is the Microsoft's repository, own repository, where we
Okay.
used to use for all of our Microsoft projects a long back. And
Okay.
now also there might be some people, but I don't think still it's alive because in couple of years back, Microsoft acquired Git.
Okay.
And after that, everything is moved to Git. And Microsoft also released one more thing, which is called as Azure DevOps.
Okay.
So Microsoft is holding three products, TFS, Git, and Azure DevOps.
Okay.
And the Azure DevOps and the Git are more advanced in
Okay.
Microsoft product suite for the version control. Then
Okay.
who will use the TFS? Microsoft itself will suggest that like more out of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, majority of the cases in terms of the direct integratable repositories in UiPath will be Git and Azure DevOps.
Okay.
Yeah. Clear?
Yes.
Perfect. And everyone is clear, right? No one has any doubts.
Yeah, I'm clear about this TFS and DevOps at Git. And what about that SPN?
SVN is an open source
Okay.
repository, but no one
Okay.
is using right now. Previously,
Okay.
people used to use it.
Okay. It's not that much advanced like DevOps and Git.
It is not advanced, but it's free of cost.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And now our topic should be the templates which is pending, correct? So I don't want to explain you from here. I'll explain you from the start. So this is our start screen whenever we want to create a project. So by default, process, library, test automation, template. These are the basic inbuilt templates given by the UiPath to start any project.
Please repeat it again. I didn't get that.
Just give me a moment. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. So, guys, you both are there, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, whenever you want to start a project in UiPath, by default, you will be having a 4 inbuilt templates, which is nothing but the process, which we generally use it for process automation, and the library, where we can just build our reusables. Let us assume that you are working on an SAP application, and SAP application is across the company, right? So it can be used in multiple places. I'm talking in terms of the process automations, okay? And what you can do is SAP login, SAP log off. You can do it as a library, and this can be reused across your organization. So these two are more related to your process automations. It's not related to the test automation, but the library can be used even for the test automation as well. And we will see how we can build a library and how we are going to use it as part of the test automation as well. Okay.
Okay.
And there is a test automation template, and we will talk it a bit after some time. And the template, in case if you want to build your own custom template, then you can take this particular project type and you can create your own template. And the below new from templates, all these templates are built with the help of this type of project itself. So these four are can be called as project types in UiPath. And if you consider creating your own template for reusing across your organization, or if you want to establish some standards, right, then you can consider this as part of your template. And all these, whatever you have new from the template, is the templates which are created by either by UiPath or by marketplace or in your organization. So these are created with the help of template. There is one thing called as a robotic enterprise framework, which is more important for the RPA developers when someone is automating the business processes end to end. So this template can be used for that robotic enterprise framework. This is a standard template. And if I go to the templates here, we can say like what I want to have. Build, getting started, built-in, official, which are created by the UiPath, orchestrator, which I have published myself to my orchestrator, local, which are available only on my system, marketplace, which is built by multiple people and contributed by the community. So you have different types of filters you can have. All these will be kind of like whatever the configurations we will be doing, and that configuration I'll show you once we are into the system, like when we create a project and when we see. Okay. And I didn't spoke anything on the getting started and built-in, because the built-in is nothing but like by default you are getting, but I don't agree that these are coming as a built-in. And I don't know about the getting started as well. Why these things are coming? Because these are some automations ready-made by built by the UiPath and they kept it. If you open anything, right, then you'll be having by default some activities, workflow activities, and everything is available. Then I will not call these as a templates. These are something that like you already have a scaffolding of your project, like which is already predefined processes where you can configure your values. So I don't want to call these as a workflows. Rather, I can call as an automations where we can configure the things. So the getting started and built in, I will not call them, or I cannot accept them as a templates. Then other than that, everything is templates. So from the sources, you can configure and you can filter and you can use it, right? And in the start, so here, if you click on more templates, here also you can see that same. Again, you will be navigating to the same place. And here we can search. And for us, the most important is testing. We doesn't want to take off anything other than that. And if I say test, and I'll keep all. So these are the basic test templates already available for me, which is SAP testing, where we leverage this testing framework for SAP only. And mobile testing, this is for the mobile automation testing. Test automation reporting, this is just created by Sudeep, who works for UiPath as a solution architect, and he created just for the customized reporting purpose. And this is part of a marketplace. And performance testing, this template, so I don't want to talk more on that, but performance testing is not yet available in UiPath. It was expected to come, but this person tried to bring out some performance testing with the help of like the start time and the end time and how much time it is taken, and he projected some matrices. And till the time, if we want to do some performance testing in UiPath, till the time actual performance testing is released, and this can be considered, but this is not actual performance testing. And test automation framework, which is a very good framework, which I loved a lot, and which we are going to see as part of our sessions as well. So, did you got a clear understanding on the templates, like what we need to use, when to use, and all these things?
Yeah, I mean, not fully, but we have some idea about what actually the framework and what we need to be used for when that some understanding we are having it.
Okay, perfect. But what I generally do in terms of the RPA, right? By default, I'll take the robotic enterprise framework, which is this, when I do the RPA. But when I go for the testing, I will not choose any of these frameworks.
Okay.
What I do is I'll create my blank testing project. In case if I require something, I'll just create one more blank project for with these templates, and I'll just take whatever is required for me, because every test case cannot be the same. Correct?
Yes.
So for that reason, I'll create a blank test project, and based on that, I'll go for whatever the framework I want to build, and I'll use inbuilt templates inside of my project templates to create the modularity of my test cases. So let us go ahead, and I'll create a blank test automation project. Okay. So I'll say my first test automation project. Okay.
Okay. For this blank, what you have selected the template? I mean, which one you have selected?
Test automation. Start with
Test
blank project
automation.
to create a new test project.
Okay, got it. Test automation
Yeah.
only. Okay.
New blank test project. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
In advanced options, we have like where you want to store this. By default, it will be in UiPath wherever it is installed.
Okay.
And if you want to change the directory, you can change it. It doesn't
Okay.
matter. Compatibility, you have Windows and cross platform. So what actually the difference between the Windows and cross platform? It's a question, guys.
Uh, I mean OS, right? Both are different OS.
Windows work for only Windows OS. What is cross
Yeah.
platform?
It will support for I mean some other like not only for the particular OS.
Yeah, it worked for Windows, it worked for Linux,
Yeah.
and it worked for Mac OS. So that compatibility is there.
Okay.
In language, you can select VB or C Sharp.
Okay.
So the VB is the legacy language, C Sharp is the modern language. But the people who actually works on UiPath and comes to the UiPath test suite, even in UiPath also you have these two options. People prefer to go with VB. The reason is you have a lot of community support for the VB in UiPath, and C Sharp you'll be finding very less, but which is powerful.
C sharp, right?
Might be, but if I want to build a cross platform, let us take, I'll take a cross platform. C Sharp, I can build it here. But there is one more product in UiPath which is called as an Studio Web.
Okay.
I cannot use this project in the Studio Web if I build it with C Sharp. But if I build with VB, I can use it in the Studio Web as well. So I'll show you the Studio Web. Sorry. This is Studio Web, like where I can build my automations on the web itself. It will not work out for the desktop applications, but I can build automations for the any web application, correct? So
Yeah.
that will not work out for me if I do in a C Sharp. So that's the shortest or limitation what we have, because the C Sharp is introduced in 2021 version. And prior to that, when I was working in 2016, since then it is VB. So C Sharp actually brings out some powerful features, but still VB is a very strong with the help of its legacy components of like directly communicating with Windows and all. Even C Sharp is having, but the knowledge base of UiPath, you'll see more on the VB. And if you go to the UiPath community forum, if you search for any help, right, you'll hardly find C Sharp. You majorly find VB.
Got
So
it.
we'll select VB, Windows for now, and you can select whatever you want to have. See, the
Okay.
syntactical differences between the VB and C Sharp is very limited.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And majority of the implementations are in VB as of now.
Okay.
It doesn't know how it goes in going further. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me create this project. I have created my project and I have a lot of panels here. Correct. So first and foremost thing, what panel is much more important to you when you see, look at all the panels. What do you think? Which panel is much more important to you?
Uh, I mean, all right. I mean, like open command. Oh, sorry. Focus activities panel and I mean, I think whatever the panel is there, everything is important for us, right?
Yes, correct. But what is
Yeah.
most important thing?
Focus activities panel.
No.
Pick. Okay.
See, I
Then
agree. See,
mm,
everyone's assumption will be very different, right? My
yeah.
assumption might be different. My thought
Okay.
process might be different, right?
Yeah.
But what is the base of your project? The base of
Testing,
your
right?
project is the project, right?
Yeah. Project testing.
The project
Project.
panel is the measure, right? So whenever you want to create something, if you could able to create one file, and then only you could able to use the activities, right?
Yeah. Got it.
If you use the activities, then only you can configure the properties.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the project panel is that like whatever the test cases or workflows or the folder structure or the organization of your project, entire project, test automation project will be lying under the project panel.
Panel. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
And the activity is nothing but when you work on any of the programming language, you will be writing your code, right?
Yeah.
So the activity panels can be a replacement of your coding methods. Whatever the method you are writing in a programming language,
Yeah.
that can be my drag and drop activity. Correct?
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Uh, Guys, I don't want to comment, but snippets, I always feel that like it's useless, but it can be helpful when
Okay.
you want to have a proper reusability. But later, you got a lot of features in UiPath which can support your reusabilities. Then I don't think really the snippets is required.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Properties for each and everything. Like either it's like your workflow or a sequence or activities, all the properties will be lying on this
Okay.
data manager. So data manager is nothing but like how you are handling your data. So entities, right? Entities is something that like it is related to the data services, which is nothing but you guys already know about the database, right?
Yes.
If I'm hosting my own database on a cloud server and I'm giving you an interface and I'm just calling it as an entities. Simple. It's a table structure where the backend is the database,
Yeah.
but this will be part of my UiPath ecosystem where I can do the CRUD operations, create, update, uh, delete, read, right?
Yeah.
And the processor, what are the different automation processes I have as part of this particular folder in the orchestrator? Let me change my process, sorry, folder name, and the process will change. See, let me change this to autopilot. These got changed, right?
Yeah.
So, in case if I want to use any of these processes, I can use it from here. So it's kind of like we have the data manager to handle multiple data driven functionalities. Of course, it's a part of like you will be having a variables, arguments, and constants as well. And the good part of this is like you can create a global variable for any project. But we need to check, even I was not aware, really the global variable works for the test automation or not. Okay. So variables, arguments, constants, these are the common terms for everyone. Like where we want to have a variables for to hold the data inside of my workflows or inside of my method or inside of my code. Correct?
Yeah.
And the arguments are to pass from one method to other method or one function to the other function. Correct? Like when
Yes.
we call it in maths, f of x equal to x square plus y, uh, that actually x and y are variables. And if you call, uh, guys, I may need to take a hard stop, but I'll try to continue for 2 minutes to conclude this because there is a power outage and I'm not sure how much time my UPS will work. Um, Let us assume that like you are doing a sum of a comma b, where a comma b will be your arguments, right? Will be passing from the outside whenever you're calling the function sum.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
guys, I'll take a hard stop. I don't want to take a sudden block because there is a power outage and my UPS is like, I don't know how long it worked. But okay, we will continue with other panels as well tomorrow, if that works for everyone.